Hello students, good morning to everyone. Come back to the new learning. Today we will be learning about 7th chapter from the history part named as Mauryas and Kushans.
When the Vedic trade was established in the area of our India and the major civilizations are developed and those civilizations are emerged in the area of our India and those civilizations have some particular administrative system and that causes some dynasties are developed in our India. Those dynasties are Kadambas, Kushanas, Guptas and Mauryans, Kushans. Those are some major ruling dynasties in our India. Now let's see. For first dynasty is Mauryas. India's first dynasty was the Mauryan Empire. In our India, first ruling dynasty was the Mauryan Empire. They ruled from the Magadha. They ruled in the area of Magadha. Magadha is in our India's central part. The Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusara and the Ashoka are the important rulers. The Chandragupta Maurya, Ashoka and Bindusara are the important rulers in our in Mauryan dynasty. And this dynasty was established by the Chandragupta Maurya. Who was the founder of this dynasty? He was the Chandragupta Maurya. The name of Chandragupta Maurya was made the eternal by the recording it by Megasthenes, the Greek ambassador, in the book Indica. We see the evidence in the book called Megasthenes, book called Indica. We wrote, though this book was written by the Megasthenes, and he has given evidence to the life of Chandragupta Maurya. Reference sources. Now let's see which are the sources we have to know about the Mauryan dynasty and how the life of Mauryan dynasties. Through the sources, material are less. When we see the sources, there is no large material available in nowadays. The available sources are provide the valuable information on the Mauryas. We have some available sources which have given the strong evidence to the life of Mauryan Empire. Those are as follows. Now let's see which are those. Our first source is Megasthenes Indica. Megasthenes, visited India as an ambassador of the Greek. When he was visited in our India, he was a Greek ambassador in the court of Chandragupta Maurya. In the role of Chandragupta Maurya, he has recorded the experience at the Pataliputra. He has wrote his all experience when he was living in Pataliputra. Pataliputra is a capital of capital of Mauryan Empire, and he wrote about the all social, administrative, and religious life of the common people on that time. Those are evidence are given by the book called Indica. Those book was written by the Megasthenes on the evidence of Pataliputra, and the Pataliputra is a capital of Mauryan Empire. Now let's move on. Kautilya's Arthashastra. Our another evidence is Kautilya's Arthashastra. Arthashastra is written by the teacher, the Prime Minister of Chandragupta Maurya. Kautilya is a great thinker. His another name is Chanukya. Chanukya is a great thinker of the Mauryan Empire, and he was a Prime Minister of Chandragupta Maurya. Kautilya, he also known as Chanukya and Vishnugupta. His another two name he have. Those are Chanukya and Vishnugupta. The Arthashastra is written in Sanskrit language. Arthashastra was written in Sanskrit language, and they outline the basic principles on the administration. He has wrote about the principles of administration, foreign affairs, judicial duties that the king taught to know. Those are given information. Those means Arthashastra has given information about the administrative system and the principle of administration, foreign affairs, judicial duties. Those things are available in the book called Arthashastra. By reading this book, one can understand the political, economical, and administrative and social and aspects and those other aspects of the Mauryan Empire. Through when we read this book on that time, we have the experience about the of that times political system, economic system, administrative system, social and other aspects of the Mauryan people. Now let's move on. Our another source is Mudra Rakshasa. The Mudra Rakshasa, this is the Sanskrit play written by the Vishakadatta. Vishakadatta was a writer on that time. On that time is in a Mauryan time. He was wrote a book called Mudra Rakshasa. In that book, he was narrated the process of Chandragupta Maurya beginning taught into the power of Kautalya. He has wrote about how the life of common people in the Mauryan dynasty. Now let's see our another source is Deepavamsha and Mahavamsha. The two are Srinalekan literary work. Those narrated the effort of Ashoka spread Buddhism in the Sri Lanka. In this book means Deepavamsha and Mahavamsha. We see that how the Ashoka was effort, how is its hard work towards spread the Buddhism in Sri Lanka. Our next source is inscriptions of Ashoka. Ashoka was the first ruler who was wrote the inscription about their related to the Mauryan Empire. So these inscriptions are authentic and the sources of the information on the Ashoka. They tells about the boundaries of Ashokan Empire and the effort to spread the Dhamma and the details of a Kalinga battle. When we see the inscription of Ashoka on that time, we have to know through that inscriptions. Those are boundaries of Ashokan Empire efforts to spread the Buddhism in a whole over the world, the details of a Kalinga battle, Kalinga war. Now let's move on. Our first ruler is Chandragupta Maurya. He was born in 321 to he was died in 298 BCE. He was a great emperor of that time, and Chandragupta Maurya is a founder of Mauryan Empire. I have already told that he was a founder of Mauryan Empire. Chandragupta Maurya come to power in dethroning the last king Nanda dynasty under the guidance of his teacher Kautalya. Became a king on that time. He was dethroned. On that time the another dynasty, that dynasty was a Nanda dynasty ruled in our India, and that Nanda dynasty was after this last king was Nanda, and he was after that he will become the next king of Mauryan dynasty, and the teacher of Chandragupta Maurya is Kautalya. Kautalya is a Chanukya, and his another name is Vishnugupta. At the age of 25, by this time, the northwest of India ruled by the representative of the Alexander, Seleucus Nicator, till the Punjab. On that time, when he was became a king, on that time in our India northwestern area was ruled by the Seleucus Nicator. Seleucus Nicator was a representative of the Alexander's kingdom, and till the Punjab it was ruled in those area. In 305 BCE, Chandragupta Maurya declared war against him. In the 305 BCE, the Chandragupta Maurya was declared war against the Seleucus Nicator, and in that battle ended in the agreement. According to it, the Seleucus handed over the territory that included today's Afghanistan and Balochistan, and the Chandragupta Maurya, moreover, he married his daughter to him. With this, the Magadha Empire was established. The rule over the vast northwest area. When he was defeated with the Seleucus Nicator, and the result of this war was he was acquire all the area of the Seleucus Nicator. Those are territories is Afghanistan and Balochistan in today's. And he was married his daughter. He was means Chandragupta married the Seleucus Nicator's daughter, and after that, Magadha Empire established all rule over the northwest area. The Magadha Empire, Mauryan Empire was established in the northwest area in our India. As per the Jain tradition, it is said that the Chandragupta Maurya handed over the right and handed over the region to his son Bindusara after the accepting Jainism in the last days. In his last days, he was accepted Jainism, and that time he was hand over, and he was given all power to his son called Bindusara. Bindusara was a son of Chandragupta Maurya. It said that later traveled to the Shravan Belgola, and he was traveled to the Shravan Belgola. Shravana Belgola is in our Karnataka. Along with the Jain stage, the Bhadrabahu and other. The finally tradition says that the undertook the Selekhana Varta, and they passes away therefore there itself. Now let's move on. Our another emperor is Ashoka. Ashoka was a great emperor. He was born in 273 and he was died in 232 BCE. He was a great emperor and he was most popular emperor of India. In our India, Ashoka name is a very most popular. He was related to the Mauryan Empire, and he was a great king of our India, Mauryan dynasty, and our India also. From the dynasty, he was the son of Bindusara. When he was in the Chandragupta Maurya side, we have seen that when he was became Jaina, on that time he hand over the Bindusara. That Bindusara was the father of Ashoka, and that Bindusara he was the governor of Ujjain and Takshashila. During his father's reign, he was suppressed the uprising at the Takshashila. After the death of his father Bindusara, he said that the Ashoka had to kill his all 99 brothers to assume the throne. When his father was alive, on that time he was the governor of Ujjain and Takshashila. After the death of his father, he was killed his all 99 brothers, and he became a king. He became a king and took the throne. And as per the Buddhist tradition, probably there was an internal war among the brothers for about the 4 years. On that time we see, on the evidence of Buddhist tradition, we see that probably those people means the brothers have the inter war in between those brothers for the 4 years. They assume that acceded throne in the year 269 BCE. He was thrown in the year Ashoka was thrown in the year 269 BCE. He waged to the war against Kalinga 8 years later. This was the only war waged him after becoming king. The Kalinga war is a great war. After that, this Kalinga war, this was the first war which was when after the Ashoka becoming the king. Now let's move on. Kalinga war. Ashoka declared war on Kalingas, who refused to accept the rule of Mauryan Empire. Ashoka was declared war against the Kalinga, who were not accepted the rule of Mauryan Empire, who were rejected the Mauryan Empire in the year 261 BCE. The 13 rock inscriptions are Ashoka's provided more information on this battle. We see that in nowadays also the 13 inscriptions are given the evidence proof to the that war. According to Ashoka declared the war on the Kalinga 8 years after the assuming the throne. After the becoming the king, he was completed 8 years. After the 8 years, he defeated the war against the Kalingas, and in this battle, the 1,50,000 prisoners were taken. When after in that war, 1,50,000 people are prisoners in the Ashokan kingdom. The lakh people was died. The lakh people was died in that war. That war means Kalinga war. Many more became the refugees through the Kalinga was won by the Ashoka. He was disturbed by the death and pain of the battle and decided to the wage war and after considered the victory of a religious is a better than the victory of a battlefield. After the completion of this war, the Ashoka was totally changed. When he was see the blood and death of those peoples means the Kalingas on the Kalinga war, he was totally changed. And his life was became more changes to the after and before the Kalinga war, and he was accepted the Buddhism and he was decided to wage the war after the consideration victory. He said that the religious victory is better than the victory of battlefield. He said that the religious victory is better than the victory of a battlefield. He went to the represent and seeing the devastation. Ashoka was thought that the better than the war in our life, we have to live a good and peaceful life created by the war. On the beginning, inspired by the Buddhism, he dedicated his remaining life and spread the message of peace. He was totally inspired with the Buddhism, and he was thinking about he spread the Buddhism and a peaceful life in a whole over the world. Buddhism and Ashoka. Now let's see Buddhism and Ashoka. Ashoka accepted the Buddhism after the Kalinga battle. I have already told that he was totally changed in his life, and he was accepted the Buddhism in his life, and he made the donation to the Buddhist monasteries and viharas. He was given the large number of the donation to the viharas, and he prohibited the killing of animal and birds. When he was see the blood in the warfield, in the battlefield, on that time he was decided that he did not do all those things through his life. Those things are provided. Those things are given inspiration to the going to the Buddhism, and he was totally changed, and he was given some donations to the viharas, and he was totally opposed to the killing of animal and birds. In his kingdom, the Ashoka declared that all these citizens are the children's. He was after those war, he was decided that all declared that in his kingdom the all citizens are the children's. He declared that all should be loyal to their parents and respect to the elders and gurus. After that, he was declared that one should have given a respect and response to the elders and gurus. He wanted people to show the comparison to the people and slaves too. He was given order that the people was shown affection to the poor and slaves. the life and let life said that he appointed officials named Dharma Mahamantra that the preachers the principle of Buddhism. He installed the inscription all across the kingdom and preaches the message of Buddhism. He was appointed an officer called Dharma Mahamantra. He was given and declared he was giving the teaching about the Buddhism, and he was installed all inscription all over his kingdom related to the Buddhism. The preachers were sent to the other countries as well. He was sent his ambassador to spread the Buddhism, and the countries were as well all over the world. The person named called Rakshita was sent the Banvasi. He was sent the Rakshita to the Banvasi, and the another person the name Mahadeva was sent to the Mahesh Mandala, Mysore. Nowadays, Mahesh Mandala is Mysore, and he also sent his son Rahula to the daughter Sangamitra, Sri Lanka. He sent his son called Rahula and daughter Sangamitra to the Sri Lanka. In 250 BC, he organized the third Buddhist conference at the Pataliputra. In the 250 BC, he organized the third Buddhist conference in Pataliputra. Pataliputra is a capital of Mauryan Empire. Which is the capital of Mauryan Empire? It is a Pataliputra. Now let's see Ashoka's inscription. In this session, we see about the Ashoka's inscription. Ashoka is called the father of inscription. Before the Ashoka, we did not see any inscription related to their life, and after the Ashoka, we see the Ashokan inscription. Till today, his inscriptions are the first inscription to be read. In nowadays also, it is a first inscription to read. In 1837 CE, the British officer James Princip displayed the Ashoka's inscription for the first time in all the inscription. Instead of the name and title, Devanamapriya and Priyadarshi are used. In this inscription, we see that the King Ashoka was named as a Devanamapriya and the Priyadarshi used. The Charles Bedon, the British engineer and inscription at the Maski of Raichur in 1850. See, in this inscription, the Devanamapriya and Priyadarshi Ashoka appears at the first time. Based on this, it was decided the Devanamapriya and Priyadarshi are the same letter in their inscription. The name of Ashoka appears. I already told that they have given the respect to their king with the name of Devanamapriya and Priyadarshi. Now let's move on. Economic system during the Mauryan period. So how is the economic system of the Mauryan period? There are the evidence which provide that the lake and canal system of the irrigation are good during the Mauryan period. When we see about the good condition of a lake and canal system, we have to told that the irrigation should be more developed on that time. The Pushyagupta, a governor during this region, the Chandragupta Maurya had built this Sudarshan Sarovar, the dam in Junagadh of Gujarat. Sudarshan Sarovar was a dam in Gujarat. An officer named Tushashpa during this region of Ashoka built the canal. canal for this dam. The Megasthenes has also recorded the existence of irrigation channel, the canal that the government managed the agricultural sector. In the Megasthenes, when we started our lesson, we see that in sources, Megasthenes was written the book called Indica. In that book, he has given the good evidence about the irrigation system and good condition of the canal system, and the agricultural system was under the control of a government. The prisoners of the war slaves are engaged in the agricultural activity. The prisoners are engaged in agricultural activity. We have seen that in nowadays also the prisoners are involved in the some activities like they are making furniture and they are making those things we have something they are making those things we have seen in nowadays. On that time they are involved in the agricultural activities. The land taxes was the main sources of revenue on that time. The land sources, the agricultural taxes are the main sources of that time in the revenue of the state. A farmer was expected to pay 1/4 of the income of their taxes to the state. The farmer have to pay the 1/4 of their income to the government. Officer name Samhartha and Sani Datta were the changes of taxes collection, and they were also the custodian and the royal treasuries. The technology of producing the metal and metal had evolved during the east region of the Mauryan. They have resulted the urban based artifact products and their marketing found in the place in the economy of the Mauryan along with the agriculture. When we see the agriculture, the producing technology are called producing technology, the product metal are alloys, and those are instead of agriculture in this area means the Mauryan Empire. We see some handicraft work also. There was a major road connecting with the different parts of the empire from Pataliputra. They have the good condition of the roads, and they have the capital city called Mauryas, and they have the good connection with roads in Pataliputra and other area. The major road of Nepal passing through the Vaishali and Champanayana and Pataliputra were also there, and the highway to Takshila and Kushambai and the passing through the present Delhi and the Punjab. There is a merchant to the transport the goods, and their roads were sell within the outside the empire. Kochi marked the silver coin, and they were circulated the Mauryan kingdom, and the period is marked as a second phase of urbanization. Through that sources we see the economic system of those time are more developed. Now let's move on. Our another system is social system. The social system was evolving out of the Varna-based caste system of the Vedic period. It was totally different from the Varna-based caste system, and during this period, the people born in a higher Varna could migrate to the another Varna, gain the better social respect in this aspect. When a child born in a higher class, he will be changes his varnas in another varna, and he will got the equal respect to that varna also. There were a few such a open mobility. Brahmina, Kshatriya interchange their status. Brahmina and Kshatriya have gained the profit through this rule, and they were interchanged their status, and through the society was divided into four varnas. Our society was divided into the four varnas in the ancient time. Those varnas are Brahmina, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudras. There were several caste system on that time, and in present days we also see in our India there are many caste systems, and in the book Megasthenes book called Indica. In that book we see the seven major castes on that time. Those are present in Indica. We see the evidence in nowadays also. The Buddhist sources also confirm that the existence of caste. Through the Buddhist sources we say that the caste system are available in that time. Through the caste system or led the rigidity, then the later period, the caste system had started assuming the rigidity during the Mauryan period itself. Indica does not taught the slavery and was the practice during the Mauryan rule. It was the less harsh the slavery of the Greek and Roman society. The Shudras that the last in the Varna system, they were employed as agricultural labor and domestic help. In the Mauryan period, we see that the last Varna is a Shudra. Shudra were treated as a lower class, and those Shudras are treated in this area, the Varna system. They employed the agricultural labor and their domestic helper on that time in the Mauryan age. Now let's see our another system is the administrative system. The Mauryan Empire had centralized administrative system. In the Mauryan Empire we see the centralized administration. All systems are connected to one particular place. It is called centralized system. The power was centered in the hand of the king. The king was a major role which is played in this kingdom, and he was all powers are connected in the hands of a king. Hence a huge number of officials unseen before the appointed to run the administration. To run the administration, the Mauryans are appointed the many other officials for the help to the king. There was a strong appanage network. The minister, priest, prince and general are the higher subordinate and the king. In this area means in the Mauryan rules we see some ministers, priests and princes are generally in that system. The empire was divided into provinces. There was a rule by the either prince or the relatives of the king. This system, the Mauryan Empire was a big empire. On that cause it was divided into the provinces. Those provinces means a small part of that kingdom. Those provinces was ruled by the prince or the relatives of that king. The family relatives of the king's family. Takshila, Ujjain, Dholi, Survanagari and Gironar were the regional administrative center. The official like Rajuka, justice officer, information recording officer, and the other were there, and the administration of Pataliputra was done by the group of 6 committees consisting of the 30 officials. When we see that the many officers and ministers are appointed for the administration of the Mauryan Empire, and the Pataliputra was done, and those are done in 6 committees. In that 6 committee we see the 30 main officials are there in the Mauryan system. Now let's move on. Our another headline is art and architecture. How the art and architecture are in the Mauryan period. The contribution of Mauryas to the art and architecture is a great significance. The Mauryan Empire, the kings are given more important to the art and architecture. Megasthenes Indica recorded the grounder of Mauryans place in a Pataliputra, who was visited from the Greek to India, and he wrote a book called Indica, and it is one of the record to our Mauryan Empire. Wooden ruin of the place, palace and fort around the place, around the palace of Pataliputra have been found during the excavation during the period of Ashoka. When we see that the palace and fort of those times, they are given some evidence to related to the life of those kings. During this period of Ashoka, many stupas were built. As I told that Ashoka was a great follower of Buddhism, and he has made some stupas and pillars. It was erected among all the stupas that were found, that the stupa of Sanchi. We found that the stupa of Sanchi is the biggest. It was built by the Ashoka. Around 30 pillars have been founded, and all of them are polished and made smooth. The images of lion and ox sculptured on the pillar and over the national emblem of four-headed lion. Our national emblem is a four-headed lions, and it was taken from the Ashokan pillar of Saranath. It was taken from the Ashokan pillar of Saranath. Apart from that, the Ashoka built and taken from the there was a rock cut caves in Barbara Hills. In the Barbara Hills, we see that some caves which was a rock cut. Which was cut in a large stone and big stone. The son Dasharatha were built. There three were rock cut caves and Nagaruni Hills. The caves are also important to creation of the Mauryan period. It are some information related to the art and architecture, and those are very important. Those are very important for the when we study about the Mauryan Empire. It was very important to study the art and architecture. It was a very glorious. It was a very glorious to read this, because in this area we see some developments and some important things. Now let's see Kushans. Our next kingdom is Kushan. After the Greek, it has been the Kushan who have influenced Indian history and culture. The great Greek invader who visited to our India, Greek invader is the first great invader was Alexander the Great. In our India, who were ruled on that time of Chandragupta Maurya ruled in this area, who was a Seleucus Nicator, and it has the Kushans who influenced the history of culture, Indian culture, and gave the special impulse to spread of the Buddhism. Kushans also gives importance to the Buddhism, and Mahayana sect received the greater encouragement under their patronage. In the Buddhist we see the Hinayana and Mahayana. Mahayana has the great sect which was given encouragement in the period of Kushans. The Gandhara sculpture flourished during their time. Gandhara sculptures are flourished in their time. Their time means Kushana's period. An important dynasty after the Mauryans, this is that the Kushans. It is a more important dynasty after the Kushan dynasty, after the Mauryan dynasty. They were basically from the nomadic tribe. They are from the nomadic tribe which were migrated to the India and from the Central Asia. They are migrated from the Central Asia. Asia is the largest continent of the world. Our India is situated in the southern part of the Asian continent. They were the province of Yochi and the Sakas, who were Prathans and other foreign communities that were settled in the northwestern part of our India. The Kushans defeated the Sakas and Parthians, and they settled to the Gandhara. The Kushans were defeated with the Sakas and Parthians. They were win that battle, and they were settled in the Gandhara region. Now let's move on. The founder of this dynasty was Kujalaka Dapush and Vimaka Dapush and Kanishka. They are noteworthy king of this dynasty, and Yochias were basically tribal, and his function became the united under the leadership of Kuchala Dapushi. Kuchala Kadapushi, and he caused to the Hindu Kush. He was caused to the Hindu Kush and settled in the area of Kabul and Kashmir in nowadays. During that time, the Vimakadapush gold coin was brought into circulation. On that time, they made the gold coin of Vimakadapush, and they are circulated in their people. And the major coins which were distributed in those peoples were gold coins and copper coins. The Kanishka is a major ruler of this dynasty. It was come after the Vimakadapush. During this region, the the Kushan dynasty expanded greatly. In the period of Kanishka, the Kushan dynasty was extended greatly, and the many areas were acquired by them. And he established his rule in 78 CE, and heralded a new era. This era is called as a Sakha era. He was established a new era called Sakha era. Kanishka's rule had spread up to the Sanchi in the south and Banaras in the east. His kingdom was extended to the Sanchi in south and Banaras in east. His kingdom, which included the Central Asia too, as was the Emperor Purushapura was in his capital. His capital means Kanishka's capital is a Purushapura. And the capital, the Mathura was the another significant town of that time. Mathura was a great city of India, and it is a religious center of Hinduism. And the significance of the town of that time, due to the patronage given by the Kanishka to Kanishka Buddhism, could prosper much more than before. We get to many Buddhist scholars like Ashwaghosh, Vashwamitra, Sangaraksha, the other during that his time, and the fourth Buddhist confine held in the Kashmir under the leadership of Kanishka. The third Buddhist leadership conference was held under the leadership of Ashoka, and the fourth conference was held under the leadership of Kanishka. And the Kanishka, like Ashoka and even Kanishka, sent the mission of Central Asia and China, spread the Buddhism during this region. The art and architecture go encouragement. Kanishka had given a great importance to the Buddhism, and he was sent his monk to the in Central Areas region. And in this region, the art and architecture are more developed, and their their social, economic, and religious life are much better in that way. And that those are we have studied in today's class. Now let's see. In that we see the Mauryans reference sources: Megasthenes, Indica, Kautalya, Sarthashastra, Mudra Rakshasa, Deepavamsha, Mahavamsha, inscriptions of Ashoka. After that, we have seen that the Chandragupta Maurya and the Emperor Ashoka the Great. After that, in the Ashoka, we see the Kalinga War and Buddhism and Ashoka's inscription, economic system during the Mauryans period, the social system, administrative system, and the art and architecture of the Mauryans period. After that, we have seen the Kushans. In the Kushans, we see the extension of Kushan dynasty and the founder of this dynasty, and the Buddhism and Kanishka. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you all like this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe our channel.